Imagine one single play crumbling your whole world around you. Well, that happened twice to Derrick Rose. Two usual career-ending injuries back to back. For the most part, that would end really anyone's career. But Rose was different. Rose never quit, he never gave up, and this is a short story on how a failed NBA prodigy who defied all odds to come back and just make it in the NBA. Derrick Rose, born and raised in Chicago, attended Simeon Career Academy, where he was highly recruited by many colleges. He eventually chose to go to the University of Memphis under John Calipari. Rose led Memphis to the most wins in NCAA history and their first #1 ranking in 25 years. They also had an appearance in the NCAA championship game. But in 2009, an NCAA investigation, it was revealed Rose's SAT scores had been invalidated, and it really invalidated the whole entire 2007 to 2008 season for Memphis. Despite this, Rose was drafted as the #1 overall pick by his hometown team Chicago Bulls in the 2008 draft. Rose became the first Bulls draftee since Michael Jordan to score over 10 points in his first 10 games, and he also earned Eastern Conference Rookie of the Month honors for November and December. And to add on to that, during the All-Star weekend, Rose won the Skills Challenge, becoming the first ever rookie to ever win the challenge. Rose ended the season as the first #1 pick since LeBron James to win the Rookie of the Year. He averaged 16.8 points on 47% shooting, 6.3 assists, and 3 rebounds. In Rose's sophomore season, he was elected to his first career All-Star game, being the first Bulls player selected since 1998. He led the Bulls to the playoffs and averaged 27 points a game and 7 assists, but the Bulls ended up losing in 5 games to the Cavaliers. Coming into Rose's third season, he broke out and he absolutely dominated the league, and even had players like LeBron James saying he feared playing him the most in the league. Rose made the All-Star game again this year, but instead of being in a bench role, he was the starter. At the end of the season, the Bulls had a 62-20 record, making it their first 60-plus win season since 1998. Rose was named the MVP on May 3rd, joining Michael Jordan as the only player in Bulls history to receive the honors. The Bulls ended up losing to the Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals, proving that the Heat were still too much for the Bulls. In December of 2011, Rose signed a 5-year, $95 million contract extension with the Bulls, looking to be the star of the organization for years to come. But this all came crashing down in Game 1 of the first round against the 76ers, where Rose hurt his knee trying to jump, and it would come back to be an ACL tear. Rose didn't play for the whole 2013 through 14 NBA season, with many questioning how he would look when he came back, but that was all answered during that preseason, where Rose averaged 20.7 points and 5 assists. But again, it all came crashing down as on November 22nd, Rose injured his knee in a game against the Trailblazers, and it came back to be a torn meniscus. Rose didn't end up returning until the start of the 2014 through 15 season, but on February 24th, he had another meniscus surgery which ruled him out indefinitely. Despite this, Rose returned to action on April 8th and played in the 2015 playoffs. He played amazing all playoffs and with vintage Rose performances, and he also hit a very iconic buzzer beater against the Cavaliers, which has become such an iconic play in NBA history. 2015 through 16 ended up being Rose's final season with the Chicago Bulls, where he averaged 16 points and 5 assists, but he was no longer capable of performing at an MVP level. Rose ended up being traded to the Knicks in June of 2016, and he stated that the Knicks were a super team with him, Melo, and Porzingis, but the Knicks ended up underperforming and finished 31-51. But more importantly to our story, Rose tore the meniscus in his left knee that year, needing a 4th knee surgery of his career. Despite this, in 2017, Rose signed with the Cavaliers, joining forces with LeBron James, but Rose was ultimately traded to the Jazz and waived, and he ended up signing with the Timberwolves in March of 2018. Rose averaged 14 points as a role player with the Timberwolves that season, who lost to the Rockets in the first round. Rose chose to re-sign with the Timberwolves for the 2018 through 19 season, where he scored a very iconic 50 points on the Jazz on Halloween, which also was his first start of the season. Rose ended the season averaging 18 points and 4 assists, but the Timberwolves ended up missing the playoffs. So Rose signed for the Pistons in 2019, where Rose had some good performances, but these Pistons teams were historically mismanaged and just really bad. But in 2021, Rose was traded back to the Knicks, where he provided an offensive spark on the bench. Rose finished the 2021 season 3rd in 6th Man of the Year voting, showing how vital he was for this team. Rose was good in the playoffs, playing his role, but the Hawks lost in 5 games. And in August, Rose signed a 3-year, $43 million extension with the Knicks, where he was a good role player until Rose underwent a procedure to address a skin infection in his ankle and was ruled out indefinitely. The Knicks declined Rose's team option in June of 2023, and he signed with the Grizzlies, where he played a bench role, and Rose wanted to return to the Grizzlies for the 2024-25 season, but he ended up being waived. Rose announced his retirement in September of 2024, and the Chicago Bulls have announced plans to retire his jersey this year during the 2025-26 season. This is a prime example showing how if you put in the work, you could do anything. Rose suffered 2 injuries back-to-back, which would have ended most players' career, but he battled back into being a very serviceable NBA player and continued playing for almost about 10 more years. This shows why you should never ever count anyone out. And before I go, real quick, I wanted to thank you guys for all the support. This video should have been out like a day earlier, but I ended up losing my power during the weekend, so I couldn't really record. So sorry for that, but new videos every other day, and I'm trying to get better at these type of videos, like writing a script and everything, and recording the audio and editing more and stuff like that. So the videos will get better and better over time and go into more obscure topics over time and just get longer over time too. So just stick with me, trying to get back into this whole YouTube thing and everything. But yeah, thank you guys for all the support. I really appreciate it. And yeah, that's really about it.